Thanks a lot for staying with CNN-News18. You're watching our continuous post-budget coverage. I'm Shivani Gupta. Joining me is Mr. Sanjiv Bajaj, immediate past President, CII, and Chairman and Managing Director, Bajaj Finserv Limited. So thanks a lot for your time. There is fiscal consolidation and lower projected borrowings for financial year 24-25, something the RBI will help keep inflation in check as well. Do you foresee the RBI responding to this in the next week's monetary policy meeting?
Well, I believe it's clearly a step in the right direction, and that and inflation moderating does arm the RBI to take a positive decision. We do know that the Fed has held rates yesterday, and the greater expectation is for rate cuts in the second half of the year. So yes, I don't have a crystal ball, but it'll be interesting to see whether RBI gets more proactive or stays a little bit more conservative and waits maybe for another cycle.
Right. Overall, the government has reiterated its commitment to fiscal, to lowering fiscal deficit. 5.8 revised, and the estimate to be 5.1 with a longer outlook to lower than 4.5. Your thoughts on that, along with doing everything that the government needs to do, including in this interim budget, increasing capex by 11.1%. How did you see the overall policy for the government?
The overall policy is one that is continues to be growth-oriented. It's also one that is socially inclusive and, as you just correctly mentioned, fiscally prudent. And getting the right balance is not always easy, but they've clearly made a very strong attempt at that in this vote on account. Now, we do know that we are still living in a situation with significant external uncertainties, and India is that one bright spot. But we've still not seen private sector capex come up as high as it should, because again, the uncertainty ends up driving a certain amount of conservatism, and that's where the government continues to step in. That's positive. At the same time, aiming for a lower fiscal deficit in line with what the FM had set out a few years ago is very important, because India needs to get onto a stronger sovereign rating. As that happens, our overall cost of funds will come down. Keep in mind, we're still very much an economy which is what I call as a capex economy. We're still investing to build real assets for the future. We are not a Western economy which is a working capital economy. And as a result, we need to drive our interest rates down. A better sovereign rating helps all companies, and that can be a shot in the arm in coming years.
You know, the government has talked a lot about how 25 crore people have escaped multi-dimensional poverty. They've talked about, financial inclusion that has touched a lot many people's lives, particularly women. They've talked about how the average real income for the public has increased by 50%. It's a statement that the finance minister made. How do you look at the quality of life that has that the government has managed to deliver, and the promises that it is making on that front, keeping digital and financial inclusion as one of the parameters as well?
So, if you look at the last few years, post-COVID initially, they've directly put money and food in people's hands. And the digital public infrastructure that was created enabled them to do this seamlessly. I know when my staff goes home or talks to their family in their villages, they say the last few years money comes into their accounts every month. It didn't come as clearly and easily in the past. So that was the first big step that they were able to take. Thereafter, if you see the number of measures that the government has taken with self-help groups for women, with ensuring improvement in quality of education on the ground, which, as we know, is also a state subject. So it is something that the states also have to align with, and a number of progressive states have done that. You've overall improved the quality of education, also healthcare. You see the insurance for the poor, the products both on medical as well as on life. That is providing them with greater security. So there are a number of clear steps that the government is taking, and in the last 3 or 4 years, the massive outlay on public capex, this has a huge multiplier effect on jobs. And we are a country of the young. The one thing that we need year after year is more and more jobs. And to me, it's important to get a combination of these things happening year on year.
Can I get a final quick response, sir? This is in many ways the government also outlining what it has done in the last 10 years. They have given their report card before the next elections. What will your report card to the Narendra Modi 10 years be?
I would very clearly say there has been a very positive 10 years, a tremendous amount of progress. Look at India. On the physical side, India is changing in the last 10 years, and I would say every 5 years in the last 20 years actually. This is a different progressive India. Second, they picked up on the digital public infrastructure. Others had started before them, but they saw the merit in it, and the speed at which they've expanded the entire digital public infrastructure has been tremendous. So to me, these are big positives. We are still a country where we have hundreds of millions of people below the poverty line, and it's our collective responsibility to see that a significant part of what we're doing, the benefits of that are trickling down to them as well. I think this is where the entire social consciousness of the government and the country comes together as well. So I would say overall we've had a very strong 10 years.
All right. On that note, Mr. Sanjiv Bajaj, thanks a lot for speaking to us and sharing your thoughts.